So I'm back with another video, and today I want to talk about, y'all, these black spiritual leaders. I'm gonna get right into them. So I want to talk about the emergence of these black spiritual leaders. We could throw NLE Choppa in there from 2 years ago when he was on his veganism and like no nut November shit. We could throw him in there. But really, I want to specifically just talk about these fake leaders. You can attribute this into the church, or you can attribute this into what I want to talk about specifically, which is people like Nature Boy, Rashad, Jamal. If you don't know who Nature Boy or Rashad Jamal is, these are basically black spiritual leaders. So if you don't know, there is a sector of the black community that basically believes that black people are more superior to whites due to our melanin, and that we come from the Anunnaki and we are a separate group of people.
You have two types of Anunnaki, right? You got the Atlantean Anunnaki, which is all of us. And then you got the Sumerian Anunnakis, which were what the Africans created. Okay, the Africans are who? Us. But the Africans created the Sumerian text after we fell in frequency. So basically the Africans who made up this lie about the Sumerian Anunnaki were basically under spells, and they were just telling false stories about the real. You had to lower your vibration just to get here. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? Just to get here. Okay? So that's a cosmic thing. If you don't have neuromelanin and carbon, that means you're not a dark matter energy being. Now, what's dark matter energy? This is the 9-ether. Okay, so when we say 9-ether, now we're talking genetics. Okay, so this is what makes us 9-ether beings. All this stardust, all this neuromelanin, all this carbon that's descended from the astral planes.
Now, I don't know too much about this ideology, I'm going to be honest. Don't delve too much into that, but for the most part, white people are like devil monkeys and we are the superior beings, we're magical, etc. So they go and they preach about veganism, communal living, working with astrology, African spirituality, offering guidance on topics. And just to let you guys know, the African spirituality that these people are a part of, they have not been initiated through any rituals or religions or organizations. So I don't know if it's Ifa, it's YouTube University, okay? So it's not necessarily wrong to be doing these things. Do what you want, as long as like it's not causing harm to people. Then sure, whatever, teach whatever the hell you want. However, despite the positive aspects of their teachings, there has been allegations of cult-like behavior within our communities.
Guys, you trying to fuck my money up. That's what these light-skinned bitches do. They try to turn you down, but y'all ain't gonna beat me. I'm an original black man, bitch.
Reports of strict rules, isolation from outside influences, and unquestioning devotion to these leaders have raised red flags for some observers. This raises important questions around the balance between spiritual guidance and manipulation, particularly with vulnerable communities like black communities, Hispanic communities, etc.
I didn't want to protect him, but I couldn't speak out because I knew that would become physically abusive for me. I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to reel my documents in that way. So what I did was I participated in all the sexual activity.
Rashad Jamal also is in prison, I think, for R-wording, graping someone. So, and if you don't know, we have to say graping to get past the YouTube algorithm so we won't get flagged. So no disrespect to the minors. So I just want to talk about the susceptibility of black individuals to such influence, which can be attributed to various factors, including historically black communities have faced systemic oppression and disenfranchisement. leading to a search for alternative sources of empowerment and meaning. Additionally, the legacy of colonization and slavery have disrupted the traditional African spiritual practices, leading to a disconnect from cultural roots and a longing for reconnection. Along with the Black Christian church and just their ideology being pushed on people are starting to stray away from what the creator may be, and they're going on their own path in that way due to just the disillusionment with the Christian church. For the resurgence of interest in African spirituality and holistic living reflects a desire to reclaim our cultural heritage and identity in the face of ongoing marginalization. In this context, figures like Nature Boy and Rashad Jamal may offer a sense of belonging and purpose. And I will also say that I don't know too much about their ideologies, like I said, but I heard Nature Boy say a lot of times that he wasn't African, he was American, he was born here. So he took that Native American or more Moroccan, whatever you want to call it, took that ideology of we were the original people here. Whereas, you know, sometimes he may flip-flop and add some African spirituality, Ifa, but that's because he was a confused person and didn't do much research. Nature Boy was a controversial being who embodied walking contradictions. He presented himself as a spiritual leader, yet his actions often betrayed his teachings. He famously claimed to follow a vegan lifestyle, but he would eat meat whenever he wanted to. He called himself by many names, including Three God, Nature Boy.
Y'all giving me y'all three, y'all gonna work for me. Y'all all work for me. Y'all, matter of fact, down on your knees. Fuck wrong with y'all? Don't stand up around me, man. Don't stand over me, ever stand over me. Fuck that. Get down, bro. All the way down, bro. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? Don't stand around the three like that. Don't ever stand around the three like that.
Since when do gods work? I'm a god. You're talking to a supreme being. You don't work. You shouldn't be working. Only slaves work. When you become more conscious, you don't have to work. You work for who? For what?
Like, he was disconnected from reality. This guy would constantly change his name, his aliases, based on how he was feeling that morning, based on how he woke up. If he wake up on the wrong side of the bed, he's going by Three God and he's terrorizing you because he's God. And this is why I feel like it's a problem when certain sectors of the community get access to certain knowledge. This is why people say that certain people don't need access to certain knowledge. There's nothing wrong with knowing about the original roots of African spirituality or any of that stuff. But what's wrong is when you take that and you use it to manipulate and have power over people. Nature Boy's behavior was emotionally abusive towards his followers, even to the point of having one of his followers, Loyal, spit in his drink. And Loyal is now deceased and he died after being kicked out of that group. But Loyal's name ironically reflected the blind loyalty that ultimately led to his demise. And I will be honest, I am a spiritual person. I believe in plants. I believe in herbalism. As you can see, my plants are right here. I got my money tree. I got my pothos. Have a cactus right there. I'm growing onions. I'm growing lettuce, tomatoes, etc. So you get the point. I'm with the shits, and I had a conversation with Loyal before he was deceased around 2019 because I was watching his videos and I was interested in his spirituality, but something in me told me that this was deeper, and something in me made me not want to talk to him. So I ended up removing myself from that situation. That comes from discernment. I'm just not going to sit there and follow blindly what anybody says. I don't want to delve too much deeper into the lives of the people that were a part of this cult though, because that's personal, that's private, and I wish them all the best. They're still alive for the most part. About 2 of them did pass away, and I just want to wish them the best with their families, and I want them to go on and forget about all this. However, I just want everyone to understand that it's crucial to become comfortable being alone. Isolation is often a part of the journey for those who seek to break generational cycles and trauma. It goes with our stuff. A part of breaking generational cycles and trauma is you're the first one in your family that's going to do it. And you think that's not going to irk people? You think people ain't go push back and say, I don't want her in this family anymore unless she gets in line. So you got to get comfortable with being alone. In the Bible, David was often alone. There were a lot of people that were in the Bible that were following the path of God that spent that time alone. They didn't have a group. They didn't have friends. They didn't have a tribe. A lot of people go out looking for tribes when you are a part of these spiritual, intellectual spaces, and you end up in some shit that you weren't ready for. Stand attached to people who drain you, manipulate you, hurt you, only leads to you having to relearn painful lessons that you were already moving on from. Freedom and clarity comes with creating a space of your own, whether that's a farm, a home, or simply a state of mind. For me, my dream is to own a large farm with animals, plants, fruits, vegetables, and currently I'm growing vegetables, as I said. So by the age of 25, I want to have my school, I want to have my farm, I want all these things to be in place. Right now, as a teacher, I'm confident that I'm going to align myself with the right path to get those things done. I understand the desire to disconnect from a society driven by wealth, power, narcissism, and greed, but the problem isn't the desire to escape. It's the risk of encountering black colonizers who exploit the rhetoric from movements like Pan-Africanism, ADOS, and FBA. These individuals often prey on the desperation of people who seek knowledge and belonging. The longing to do more, the longing to want more, that gets exploited. The victims of these movements are often brilliant and their talents are used for someone else's gain. It's easy to fall into these traps without realizing it, which is why I have compassion for those who have. Being in a cult, especially one that manipulates your intellectual curiosity, is akin to an abusive relationship. You often don't see it happening until it's too late. This exploitation of intelligence and rebellion reminds me of figures like Dr. Umar and Candace Owens, extreme polarizing caricatures of black resistance. Gone are the days when our leaders could engage in intellectual conversation without it being a big debacle and cult based on whose side are we on. I'm on this side and I'm on this side, so let's all split. The goal should be unity. We should come together no matter our ideologies. Think Malcolm X, who left the Nation of Islam once he learned about the emotional abuse of black women in a mosque. Today, leaders, by contrast, often lack that same integrity. Umar Johnson's infamous unfinished school is a common punchline, while the Black Panthers, in the midst of a war with the CIA, still managed to provide free lunches and create schools. Dr. Umar, he's defending a diddler, while Malcolm X stood up to the Nation of Islam when they were abusing women. This is what leaders do. And leaders like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, they didn't get along, but for the sake of the mission and unity, they will have those important conversations and talks with each other, and they will meet in the middle ground. There were times when Martin Luther King would hire people like the Deacons of Defense. Even though he was non-violent, he would hire black violent people because he knew he still needed protection. That's how we should be moving. Our black leaders today are unfortunately falling completely short. But if you guys agree with me, go ahead and give this video a like, share, and comment. And I'll see you out in the next video because I will be coming back with another video. I want to shift into talking about plants in history because I'm running out of things to talk about in regards to this. I'm going to come back with more black history content, but as of right now, I want to make sure I'm not really offending people, and if I am offending people, I got facts backed up behind it for when y'all come from my head. So I want to spend some more time reading, researching before I do too much of that, and we're just going to shift to talking about history, plants. So thank y'all for tuning into this video, and thanks for the unwavering support. Thanks for the people who tune into every video. Thanks for the people who comment on my community board when I ask questions or when I let you guys know that I'm posting. You guys mean a lot to me, and I really appreciate this little community of intellectuals that we're building. So that's a big ups for me, because one thing about it is I want my YouTube to be a safe, peaceful place for me. Safe, peaceful place for me to share my thoughts. Thoughts that people may or may not agree with, but that's my prerogative. So thank y'all for joining me, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Mwah.
Atlanta, Georgia is the capital city of the whole realm of Atlantis. That's why they call it Atlanta, Georgia. Now, when you go look at the longitude, latitude of Atlanta, Georgia, and where it's aligned, you'll see it's on the 33rd parallel. Well, the 33rd parallel, as our ancestors always knew, this is where your ley lines come from. The parallels are the veins of the planet. So the planet is alive. Now, if you can understand that, you can understand that this is where they're powering all their energy from. To cast certain spells to keep us in these hexes and these curses and these jinx. Alright? I keep telling you, a lot of us wonder if we so powerful, how the fuck did they take this from us? Well, they did it using spells and having us curse under curses and hexing us and jinxing us. It's been a war, it's been a magic, it's been a war, it's been a magical war the whole time. They've been using light magic the whole time versus our dark magic. But the dark magic started to dim down the further we became removed from source. So that's the whole point of keeping us away from knowledge and certain like esoteric information, what they like to call the occult.